Well, it's nice to see you again, and tonight it is time to have a quick look at Neo, especially with what has happened in the later part of last week, alongside what may happen next week. So, obviously, we've had a lot of news break about, obviously, the election in the United States with a clear winner announced. Of course, that will affect a lot of policy towards trade and, incentives around electric vehicles into the future. So, this could potentially affect Neo as well. So yeah, for that reason, we're going to have a quick look tonight at Neo once again. We're going to have a quick look at some news. We're going to have a look at some forecasts. We're going to have a look at where the price may go in the next few years. So I hope you're going to enjoy this one. I really think that you will. If you think that you will as well, and if you end up doing, please do subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. We are almost there now. We got about like 400 and odd to go now. So I can really see it coming. If you could just help us get there a bit faster, it would not go unnoticed. On top of that, I'm amazed by how many people are joining the Discord now. So we now have a Discord. Of course, we're going to be talking about all kinds of stocks there. Chinese electric cars are actually one of the most talked about on the server. So if you do want to join, the link is down below. It's completely free. You'll find the link in the description. So yeah, come and join us. It's really fun. It's really friendly. Right, so first of all, let's have a quick look at the price over the past week or so. So I've just gone on Google and looked at Neo stock. We can see on a 1 day we are actually somewhat significantly flat. And of course, this was when Joe Biden got elected, I think it was, or it might have not been happened then. So if it didn't happen then, of course, generally speaking, people didn't know who the winner was. So people probably weren't looking to buy it at that point because of uncertainty. But yeah, we can see who's winning today, and of course this could potentially affect share prices tomorrow as the market will open up again. I think it was Biden who was a more pro-electric vehicle candidate either way, whether you like him or not. I think that was what he advocated for. I think he was also a fan of doing more trade with China, and I think he had more of a peaceful approach. Now, whether you think that's right or not, this will probably affect the price in the future, because if he does become a bit more friendly with China, let's say, this has potential to bring these cars to America. And of course, once you bring these cars to America, you can reach up to 320 million more potential customers. And of course, that means more sales revenue, and higher share prices subsequently. Also, it means more investor interest, so this could potentially be the best time to get in, but we'll just have to see what does happen in the next few weeks. I am going to say though, just make your own opinion on that. This is just my opinion on what might happen in the next few weeks, so let's just have a quick dive in. So like I said, we've already looked at the 1 day. Looking at the 5 day, we can see a very slow yet steady increase onto the upside. It was really not really anything too significant. I mean, percentage wise, maybe it was about 25% increase. However, when we look at, the path, it wasn't really too volatile actually for once. It was just quite flat and nice to see. Onto the 1 month though, we can see big gains on the 30th all the way up to about the 5th. I think this was leading up to the election more, intensely. I think a lot of things around this period did happen as well though. Of course, we got increased buy ratings, we got increased, forecast for the stock from a few companies, which people do call noteworthy and credible. And for that reason, I think a lot of people did get hyped and drive the price up to the current 41.63, which we are sat at right now. So is this one dipping at the minute? I would say it probably is going to dip, unless there's any significant news about something else. But if it's just due to the forecasts, I think it will dip, because you know how it is, news, it drives it up and then it dips it a little bit. Now, I'm not saying it's going to dip all the way down, but if we do have a quick look to this huge increase here of 22% over a period of about 1 day, we can see that we saw a few days of sell-off subsequently. However, it did not go to the previous low point or the previous high point even. It just stayed at a new high level. However, it did decrease slightly, so it's important to note this week could see a red week, but that's not necessarily a bad thing to see. So yeah, looking out to 6 months, we all know the period, we all know the story. We've just been seeing increase and increase and increase, quite steady actually up until about October, I would say. I mean, yes, we have had little increases where it shot up, another one over here, but it has been quite steady until the later part of this period, where I think people are really starting to notice the potential. So we have this article now from, I think it is investors.com. Yes, it is. And they have just a little bit of a segment here. They're basically talking about everything. So it's a great website. It's a great article. Credit to them if you want to go check it out. But if we have a quick look, we can see what they are talking about. Now, this section is talking about electric vehicle sales in China. So if you have a quick look at electric vehicle sales in China, they're saying that a lot of the Chinese-made Tesla Model 3s are actually going to be exported to Europe. Now, they are saying this probably implies that there is not enough demand for the Model 3 in China. Now, why am I mentioning the Model 3? Of course, this is potentially a competitor to NIO and also to Xpeng, because I know a lot of people are interested in that one as well. But yeah, I think that this is interesting to see, honestly, because NIO has been spiking, whereas Tesla, if they are exporting cars, it shows that they are not doing as well. Whereas, on the other hand, NIO is actually increasing its sales month on month on month, quarter on quarter on quarter. So it just goes to show the market share is there. So if if Tesla is not claiming it, perhaps people are actually liking the cars of NIO a bit more. Now, this is something that I did talk about, just on that irrelevant point in another video. It just makes sense, to be honest. I mean, yes, Tesla cars are cool. I'm not saying that NIO are the best electric cars in the world, but let's just look at this from a future perspective. I mean, yeah, back in like 2007, when Tesla was the only electric car, it was a cool car to be on the market. But let's have a quick look at where this is going, okay? If every single vehicle is going to be electric, and you've got the option to choose between, I don't know, a Rolls-Royce that's electric or a Tesla Model S that is electric, I think I know which one I would choose. I think you guys know which one you would choose. If you could choose between, I don't know, like a Ferrari or a Bugatti or something, or a Tesla Roadster, I think we all know which one people are going to pick. Obviously, people are going to have their preferences, and when the market share is more open, basically it allows more competitors to come in, and Tesla will probably lose some of their market share in the future. Now, it is important to note Tesla probably is still going to experience huge growth into the future, as most of the cars sold are still petrols and diesels, as this is shown in this Swedish graph here. Now, I could have brought up any country's graph. The United Kingdom, the United States, Norway. Norway was actually mostly electric. If we have a quick look down here, Norway was pretty much all electric, with 75% of vehicles being hybrids or fully electric vehicles. So that's interesting to see, but most countries are not looking like Norway at the minute. If we have a quick look at just Sweden down here, we could have had a look at the UK or a lot of other countries. We can see the majority of sales are made up by petrols and diesels. So petrol is, generally speaking, in most of the European markets, probably in the United States as well, petrol is the leading, form of transportation for cars. Basically, people are looking to buy petrol cars the most. After petrol, it is diesel. Of course, petrol and diesel have been used for over 100 years. They are tried and tested methods, and I think that is why people are trusting them. Another thing is other fuels. This makes up only 1.6%, and of course we can think about things like that. That's probably things like hydrogen, things like LPG gas, if you know what that is. So a lot of things will make up this sector. So we also have hybrids that are plugless. So these are things like the, I think it was the BMW i8, I could be incorrect, where basically the braking force actually creates, energy for the batteries. So I find that quite a cool technology to include. But yeah, that makes up 12% of the sales in Sweden. So looking up to the 25%, almost sector 1/4 sector, we are looking at electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. So we can still see only 1/4 of this are electric vehicles and even plug-in hybrids. So what does this mean? This means that there is a lot of room in almost all sectors, in almost all countries, for electric vehicles to move in. Now, this is what I said about Tesla, in the sense that Tesla did really have that lead on all the other companies, but now it's chances for companies like NIO and Xpeng and others, which I guarantee we will see come up in the next few years. These have their chance now to get into this sector and take it over, basically. I always use the example of looking at things like Mercedes-Benz and looking at Ford, okay? These companies were around over 100 years ago, especially Ford, because we all know the story of the Model T. Ford made the cheapest car available to all people with a Model T, similar to what Tesla is doing actually with a Model 3. I find it interesting because basically now Ford, over 100 years later, is an iconic brand which basically everybody recognizes, and this is basically a new opportunity for a company like NIO to get in on this. So whether they do that or not is completely on them, but we'll just have to see how that one goes through. Anyway, Sorry about the little rant. Let's just have a quick look at what we have seen. So we've seen increases of about 1,000% this year alone, and honestly, that is quite insane to see. That's bigger gains than Tesla even. So when we look at financials on this website, we can't actually really see too much indeed. Similar goes for shareholders. It does not look like there are any institutions holding this one, but I highly even doubt that's true. I highly doubt there are some holding it, but it just does not show it here. So that's unfortunate to see, but we can still have a quick look at our sales and forecasts. So looking at sales and forecasts, we have 17 analysts given a 12-month forecast. The high is at 310. The median, the one in the middle, the fair estimate is at 155.80, and the low is at 44.12. So the low is representing a 6% increase, the median represented about a 300% increase, the high about 650% increase on where we sat now. So when it comes to buying this one, should you buy it or not? I'm not going to say whether you should or not, because that is basically your opinion to make up. But what we can look at is what the actual analysts are saying. So this time we have 16 of them given a buy rating, 9 are saying to hold, 2 are saying to sell. So that's interesting. So basically the majority are still saying to buy, but others are saying that it's going to outperform its target, which is nice to see. 1 is saying outperform, like I said, and 4 people are saying if you already have it, then hold. So I find that interesting. So 2 people are saying that it's probably had its day. Of course, this is kind of a speculative investment in the sense that it is an early company. Whether it does well or not is still going to be hard to gauge. However, it is looking like it's doing well. But of course, there will always be people who look on the conservative side, on the kind of more scared side. So fair enough to them. We have 9 people, which is the majority, saying to buy. So that's still good to see. Anyway, let's have a quick look at some sales figures. So as we all know, sales and earnings have been rising month on month, quarter on quarter over the past year or so. So looking on earnings per share and also sales, it's no surprise to see that this figure has been going up and up and up for the past 4 quarters, basically consistently, as we have seen the company's revenue increase. So for this quarter, we're looking at 4.4 billion worth of sales and revenue, which is quite interesting to see. I find that quite good actually. 4.4 billion, that's a lot of money for a company like this to see. So I thought I'd just let you inform you on that. I'm looking at the earnings per share figure though, we are still negative quite a lot at minus $1.18. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as of course we will have to spend money when we're growing a company like this to basically make it back in the future. So of course the company is speculating to basically make more sales. We don't know what they're spending that money on. It's probably things like advertising, more efficient factories, showrooms and whatnot, the things that you will spend money on when producing a car company. But look at Tesla. Tesla was in a huge amount of debt for so many years, and now it is in profitability, and it's probably making quite a lot of money. Whether it's making money or not, we do know that Tesla cars are extremely popular, and that has probably given them a good setting and a good basis for the future. So yeah, it does not matter the earnings per share figure in my eyes. Anyway, we have this reported on the 18th of November, so obviously fairly recently. I think it will be interesting to see what happens in the next quarter though, and I think it will be nice to see if we can get those figures on earnings per share positive. So looking at what the analysts are saying, they are saying that quarter 3 and quarter 4 could bring us close to this point where we could almost be positive in quarter 4 of 2020 and almost certainly positive in quarter 1 of 2021. So whether this goes on to be true or not, I'll let you decide. I will update you on that when it does happen. So I hope you did enjoy tonight's one. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.